All right, hello, I'm back again, and tonight we are young guys who have been killed in New Orleans. They're brothers, and here it is a year later. Their mom has no answers. So, what's up? All right, can are you able to see that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, you.
So yeah, so as I was saying, three young brothers that were killed a year ago in New Orleans, a week apart. I don't even know what to
Yeah,
think
that'd
about
be
this. You know what I
sure.
mean? Like I feel like
Mhm.
there's something that's not being said because it was a week. They was like a week apart, and they're all three brothers. So it's like, and as I read, they were saying that they weren't bad kids. They weren't castaways. So you know what I mean? Like I know
Mhm.
things happen. Like sometimes you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. But we're talking about three brothers within a week, the
Yeah, well,
same
that's
week. You know what I
because
mean?
yeah, and I was reading it was the youngest child witnessed the murder of the middle child. So, and the middle child was the first one killed. Um, what was it, 7 days prior? So
Yeah.
my guess would be they came back to kill the youngest child because he was a witness to,
Mm,
you know what I mean? That would just be kind of like my assumption. I don't know. And then the other brother, the youngest, or yeah, it was the youngest that witnessed the middle child. So it was the oldest who maybe just was with him at the time. And then so maybe
okay.
whoever killed, that was just kind of like my hunch on it. I don't know. But like you were saying, I had read in the article that the father was like, my sons were like they were amazing kids. They weren't out there causing trouble or anything. And they were just, I think the youngest one and the middle one were out going to get McDonald's or something for dinner for them and their mom when the shooting happened. So, they were just innocent. And I don't know what led to that first shooting. Like, I don't know what the circumstances were. Did you get any details on that? On what led to the first?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up in just a
Yeah.
second because if I'm not mistaken, I could have swore I read something about one of the brothers being in prison.
Yeah,
If I'm not mistaken,
that
these
was the
are the three brothers here:
that was the
Brandonville, Bryanville, and Bradleyville.
hmm Yeah, the oldest was in prison at the time of the first shooting, I believe.
And so that's why I read, they're not like pretty much that they're innocent.
hmm
There has to be more to the story because then you also read it also says that they were tight brothers too.
So
So
did
if
the
one brother
oldest
was in
brother
prison,
Yeah, so the oldest brother who is in prison, you have to ask, did he have anyone on the outside who is maybe trying to seek vengeance on him and took it out on his brothers or something? I don't know.
yeah.
I mean,
So
that's
I'm
a
gonna pull it up here.
consider. And something that was
So it
kind of
says, what were you saying?
something that was kind of shady to me. Why was the security footage not released to the family? The security footage, it was not released the last I read to even the family, and I'm just wondering why.
So isn't it sometimes in cases like that when they do stuff like that, is it like to keep some type of information kind of disclosed because of suspicions of, or you know what I mean? They don't
Yeah,
want
but
to.
even the father was upset about it, and there was a family member calling on actual elected officials to step up and take control of the city. For how violent it is. I don't even know. But you would think that after some time they would have been able to at least release the security footage to the family, if they were told all the details.
Yeah.
They needed
I
to alter the video. Someone said that could be. I would hope not, but I wouldn't rule anything out.
you know I You know, I watch a lot of crime stories and stuff. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
a lot of times when police withhold information, it's
Mm-hmm.
because they suspect other. So if they're suspecting something, then they're not going to release that information. You get what I'm saying?
Oh no, I totally get it. I just feel like I don't know. And I don't know. It's just the way that I read this story, I felt like the security footage, like obviously not released publicly, but at least to the family, with details explained along the way that they were finding. I mean, I think the family had a right to know every step of the way what was going on with the investigation.
That's true. But so what I'm trying to say is if they suspect a family member,
Mm-hmm.
then they're not going to. That's what I'm trying to say.
Now,
You
if
know
they're
what I'm saying?
going at it from that angle, then yeah, if they're suspecting. So, are you thinking that they're suspecting the oldest brother who was in prison at
I
the?
don't know in particular who they would be suspecting, but
Yeah, they
if
are
there's like
out the
anything
way.
where they might suspect a family member, then they are not going to release
Yeah.
information. Yeah, that
Well,
could tamper
that's
with the
yeah,
case.
yeah, that's a horse of a different color right there. If you're talking family member, I mean that's a different story. But I still think the
Yeah.
family, at least, because it seems like the father is, he's really passionate about trying to figure out what it is that happened. He wants justice for his boys. So I'm just hoping that they're keeping him
Hmm.
fully informed as much as possible along the way because he deserves that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read the article.
Gotcha.
All right. So it says, wait. Too fast. Let's see here. All right.
You have a
So
couple
violent
comments
crime in
there.
New Orleans. Say that again.
Oh, I was just saying you have a couple comments too. If you want to read them before you read the article, she just said, like Mike Brown, they held so much info to cover up the officer. So
Yeah,
we,
okay. I'm gonna try to get to the comments. I'm supposed to have a moderator here today. I'll get to the
okay.
comments in a second, guys. So I'm gonna read this article first. So it says violent crime in New Orleans has unfortunately left many families with a feeling of devastation and loss. While some arrests have been made in homicide cases, giving families some closure, others are left in the dark. That's the case for the family of Brian Bradley and Brandon Veal. They are three brothers who were murdered within 7 days of each other from the time of their murders in February 2021 until May 10th of 2022. The Metropolitan Crime Commission recorded nearly 300 additional homicides. With that being, with gosh, I don't know how to bring this back down once I can't. Okay, so a year after losing their sons, the Veal family is still in the dark. More than 1 year after losing their boys in 1 week, the family says they are still in the dark, both literally and figuratively. The Veal family agreed to speak with WWL-TV with anonymity, shielding their names and faces from the television cameras, to know that whoever the perpetrators are still walking around doing. This teleprompter is really okay, and they have no idea who they could be or who they are, says a family member. So for us to just come out and talk openly about it, it's frightening. While you haven't seen their faces, they've made sure their thoughts and voices are heard and seen. One voice we are hearing for the first time is that of the boy's father. My whole life has changed, he says. Anybody that's experiencing death like that, and then it being, I'm sorry, you guys, I have to keep pausing it because the words go by so fast. Unsolved, there's a super unfairness. The family members says that they were out of town in Baton Rouge having dinner when they parted ways. The boy's father received a chilling phone call. Brian Veal, the middle child, was murdered on the corner of Washington and Loyola on February 13, 2021. As their family says, they always were, the brothers were together. See, and this is what I was saying, like where it says that the brothers were always together.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had one brother that was in prison for something,
mm-hmm.
I don't know how they painted like an innocent picture, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Was it ever revealed what that older brother was in prison for, I wonder? Because I didn't read that in the article.
It didn't say.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't either. While Brandon wasn't hurt, Brandon was the youngest brother.
Mm-hmm.
Say that again?
No, what did you say, that last thing?
You said something?
Oh, no. What was that last thing you said? You just...
Oh, it says, while Brandon wasn't hurt.
Sorry, you broke up again on my end. I'm not sure if
I didn't read in the article what he was in. I didn't read what the brother was locked up for.
Yeah, because I mean, you have to take into consideration, like, I wonder if there's some sort of connection there. If there
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering if there was some sort of connection with,
for so whatever. You said take into consideration?
Yeah, that he was in prison. So did he have any enemies on the outside trying to retaliate against something that he did? Because if we don't know why he was in prison, you know, was there some sort of connection there? I have no idea. It's just something that, you know, a question to think about.
Yeah, exactly. Their father told us, we received a phone call about his murder. Son is the oldest, who was, I'm waiting for the words to come up.
There you go.
Okay, I guess that's it. Guess that's all I put in there. What? Okay, let me take this off. Get to the comments. I'm trying to get comments.
Yeah, there's only 3 that I see.
Oh, I see. But at the same time, I was trying to take this off.
Yeah.
Okay. She says they need a minute to alter the video. Well, why would they alter the video, though?
Well, as I said, I was like,
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope not. I wouldn't rule anything out, but I would hope not. Unless, you know, because the other one was leading into cover up for the officer. So would there be something they would need to cover up for the officer for in the video? I have no idea. Question to think about.
She says they had so much info to cover up the officer. See, is there another article? Because in the article I didn't read, it didn't really give much. It just says that basically they were killed within a week of each other, and that they were 3 brothers. And then there was also, so the video didn't catch much is what it said. It didn't catch like the license plate of the car. I think it caught like the color, but it didn't catch the license plate. And they did find the vehicle burned. They did get fingerprints off of the vehicle. Yeah, they found the vehicle burned. They did get DNA from the vehicle, but the DNA they didn't find a match.
Man, if that was burned, then whoever did it was really trying to cover up their tracks, you know? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
So they did this, they burned the, so because of that, do you think this was a pre-planned thing since they like went to such extremes, or do you think it was like wrong place at the wrong time, they panicked? Do you know what I mean? Type of thing. That's what I would wonder. If it was like a premeditated.
I think it. See, I thought it was wrong place at the wrong time. Then that means that it wasn't meant for them, which means the person sloppy from the control. So the fact that the car was burnt, then it's like they were trying to do away with evidence. So I kind of feel like it was pre-planned because
it was premeditated.
Whoever burned the car.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say whoever burned the car probably knew somebody would know whose car it was.
Well, yeah, absolutely. That's why I was like, what was their motive for burning the car? Was it because of panic, because it was the wrong place at the wrong time, or was it premeditated? They already planned that this whole thing out, and then they planned they were going to burn the car. Do you know what I mean? Like, was this just entire thing? Which would lead me again to the questioning of the brother in prison. Did he have anyone on the outside who was trying to retaliate? And I think since it was the youngest child who witnessed the middle brother, getting shot, like I said, my gut would tell me they came back to take that witness out, and his other brother was just there by happenstance, and unfortunately got it, at the same time. I don't know.
Oh Lord, oh my God, let me put my glasses.
Yeah, I'm trying to
These words are small.
Yeah.
Okay, so she says 100%. Mike Brown and in Ferguson, Missouri, started all the riots with the ad. That's when everything was disclosed and not disclosed. But how corrupted the officers are, the officer that killed Brown, that's why there were many riots out here in St. Louis. This man that killed him, he still has his job, but in a different state, under a different name. Now they withheld, I think that's what she's trying to say, different the case for about a year, would not tell the family nothing. Would you do that if you ain't trying to cover? Why would you do that if you ain't trying to cover up anything? He got away scot free. They just murdered somebody, but you can clearly see that they altered the videos like that. But like there was, but I'm trying to figure out what does this case have to do with that though?
Because in the next comment she said,
I don't get it.
In the next comment, I think she's linking it with the comparisons. Maybe she says, and once again, the officer got away with murder, and he's under protective custody under a different name, because obviously that's not right. But what's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong, and the officer was dead. Wrong in the videos. I can prove it, but you can prove it, but they try to alter it. That's why there were so many riots.
Well, prove it.
Yeah, it's how can you prove? That's what I.
But the Mike Brown case that happened in another state. But how? What? So what I'm trying to figure out is why does she think it could be the same thing in this case?
I think she was trying.
That's where I'm confused at.
Is the cover up? I think she's trying to make the point that the police are covering for themselves again. The officers are getting away with murder again. So I think she's just comparing those two.
So she basically thinks the cops did it. But what would be their reason for doing it, though? That's my thing. What would be their reason for doing it?
I went on to say I can't prove it. It is this
text. You know what I mean?
It is this text app, so it must just be the type of.
I told you, you use those tabs. Yeah, those
Mm-hmm.
text apps, they don't never say what you're trying to say.
Yeah, miscommunication happens with those things.
But I say it was. I'm trying to figure out what the police would have to do with this case, though. I mean,
Then
what would be their motive? What would be their reason?
that would be a whole line of questioning that would probably span beyond any knowledge we're ever gonna like know about the case. I'm assuming. She
But
said power.
usually, though, when the police, right? But in those situations, though, when you usually have an incident like that with the police and a civilian, it's either because they feel like they've stopped you for whatever reason, questioned you, or you. I don't know, like, and you're not. I just don't see what the police would have to do with this. I really don't.
I mean, there
I
are,
don't. I don't see
of
the
course,
connection.
there are corrupt police out there.
There
Just
are cases where the
you know,
police do this, but we're talking
yeah,
about three brothers killed within the same week. So if the police has something to do with it,
yeah,
then it would have to be something more deeper than power.
yeah. So in this particular
You know what
case,
I mean? It would
yeah,
have to be
in
probably
case
a crooked
that,
cop.
mm-hmm. That's what I was just wondering.
You
But
know?
like I said, there's a whole lot of questions because that article didn't really fill in a lot of blanks. It kind of just gave a general overview of the situation. So to the reader, we're not going to get the whole story from that. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's see, I'm reading her next. She just commented again.
Yeah.
Please, and they cut that video. Socially, they do it, and at the end of the month. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, Amanda. I don't. That's insane. They do it at first and at the end of the month. So you're saying it's about they're trying to meet a quota?
So they meet quotas by offing people?
Yeah, I'm a little bit conflicted about that because I feel like then that's lumping a whole group together.
I thought usually when they want to meet a quota, they start handing out hella tickets. I don't.
Yeah, like speeding or something. Yeah. Let's see.
I don't know.
I'm
But
that one when I got done to I'm sorry you were treated that way by that officer. That is not okay, and he shouldn't have gotten away with that. You know what they're doing? Like, not all police are corrupt. I know plenty of good police, but I'm sorry that you had to deal with a corrupt one. That's never okay.
So you know what I want to know is during their investigation, did they do any research to find out if the family had any insurance policies on these boys?
That's
You
a
know
good
what I'm
question.
saying?
That's a really good question because
And that would go
mm-hmm.
that will go back to when I was saying that if the police, the withheld information, that would go back to when I was trying to say sometimes when they withhold information, there's a reason why. They be investigating those people that they're not giving the information to.
Yeah. Yeah, and it has to stay classified until they figure out what exactly is going on.
Yeah. So that's what I was thinking.
The insurance money
it
is
would be good to know, like,
yeah. But like I said, that's what's hard about reading from my perspective, in my experience. When you read one article, I mean, it's hard. Like you said, were there any more articles on this? I did not personally see any more articles on this story, but from what I read, there's going to be a lot of questions to fill in, that need answered, but we're probably not going to get them answered until the case is closed. And even still, it's like, what exactly did happen? My concern is with the whole burn car thing afterwards. I mean, that's like a pretty personal thing. Like, that's when you're trying to like completely erase away any and all evidence at that point. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That just screams guilty to me.
And they never, and who is car registered to?
Yeah, they never revealed that to my knowledge. Did
And
you?
so there's probably a lot of information that. So that car to me is a big. The car to me is a key to the case.
It's,
So whoever that car is registered to, that's going to lead to who was driving the car that day that pulled the trigger.
I'm just wondering, like, why would it take that long to figure out who it's registered to?
Right, because the VIN number is there. You can't burn
Yeah.
the VIN number. It's still there, I'm sure.
So I'm just kind of wondering, like, what's going on with that? Because I mean, I thought you could pull up stuff like that pretty quick.
Oh, that's again, that goes back to them not giving the family. That goes back to them not giving the family certain information again.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about 3 sons killed within the same week. That's questionable.
It's
to me.
very shady. It's beyond disturbing. And there's so many questions. Like you said, I think the car is the key to unraveling some answers that just haven't been, looked into yet or what have you. Because I feel like once they figure out who it's registered to, they're going to find a trail somehow. Even if how do they know the car wasn't stolen? Do you know what I mean? So even if they find who it was registered to, I don't know.
But do you think the car was stolen, they would have even taken the time to burn it?
Just to destroy any sort of evidence.
You know what I mean?
They may have just to destroy any sort of evidence. I don't know.
Because whoever the person was, they said the DNA that they got off the car, they didn't find a match. So this person obviously has never been arrested.
No, he hasn't been in the
because system. Their fingerprints isn't in the system.
Yeah, he or she hasn't even been put in the system yet. Yeah, that's definitely a lot to think about. Because like I said, there are so many holes in that story. I don't even know. I just hope that after a year later, they can start to get some sort of answers unraveled for this family. And like I said, I know.
I think a lot of times people get mixed up. Don't get me wrong. I know that police do things, but we can't take every story and make it into that and make that everybody's story.
Well, that's what I said.
Because it doesn't have anything to do.
There are some corrupt police, just like there are some corrupt doctors. There are some corrupt. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's corrupt in every field. So you cannot lump them. I know a lot of good cops. They're not going to just. And unfortunately, yes, there are going to be some who abuse their power. And obviously, with the one comment we saw, she had to go through that horrific situation, I'm just reading.
Oh, I'm sorry. I clicked off of it.
Oh, no, you're good. I was just reading up her most recent comments. So Darian Wilson, look him up. He was an activist. Police killed him because he was pushed for justice for Mike Brown. And again, getting all the facts is like for these stories. I'll definitely look them up though.
Yeah.
If we're only getting bits and pieces through random articles, it's kind of hard to burn his car. That is gruesome. Jeez. What's wrong with people?
Right.
I'm saying, like, I don't even understand that. Wow. Yeah, this one though, I just hope the family gets some sort of closure. Like I said, I know there was a family member calling on elected officials to step up and take control of their city. So obviously there's a lot going on in that city that, some sort of leadership needs to take place. And, because if not, unfortunately, I hope it wouldn't, but it's going to lead to more of this, But this case is just so unique in that it was 3 brothers in a week's time. That's what really stumps me. This is a really.
That's what makes it so questionable. Like with one whole week right behind each other. So they weren't like basically they were good kids. They weren't castaways. and maybe they weren't castaways, but they, and then you got one brother that was in prison, then you're painting this picture like they just weren't involved in anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it clearly says that they were tight brothers, so they had to know what the other brother was doing.
Quite possibly, yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes
Yeah.
parents don't know everything that their children do because they hide it.
Well, no, no, or they, you know, they say love is blind. You see things, but you don't see them, you know. And yeah, parents don't definitely don't know everything about our kids. We try. But like I said, as far as the youngest child, and I really think whoever just came back to off that child because they were a witness and the other brother was just there. I don't know. That would just be my guess into the situation.
So then, so would that be the reason why they killed both the other two brothers then? What would be the other reason for killing the other brother?
That would be my guess without knowing all of the details.
Okay. And so then if that's the reason why they were killed, then wouldn't they have went back for the family? Because if they know, then they might have told their parents. You know what I mean?
But think about, that's why the family is being anonymous about everything. They have made it clear in the article they are fearing for their life. That's why they're not speaking out, you know. That's why they're remaining anonymous at this time, because they have no idea. Apparently they have no that we know about at this point, and it's been a year. And I think didn't it say something in the article about the funeral? They even hired security or police because they were fearful that the person, whoever did it, may come and attack them at the funeral or something like that, come after them. So I mean, the family is living in fear, and that's got to be a horrible thing for that long a period of time to be living like that.
So then that just brings me to wonder, were they really just innocent bystanders though?
I mean, and
were they killed for a reason, and do the parents know who actually killed them?
Yeah, that's definitely a question that I think the police are going to have to, you know, follow up on and try and figure out, okay. And like you said, I really think the car is the key to all of this. It's going to start unraveling everything, in my opinion, once they figure out, you know, because that's just going to lead a trail, I feel like. Do you know what I mean? And then I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
You said you watch a lot of crime shows, right?
Yeah, I watch the ID channel a lot.
Okay. Yeah, because there was this one show.
Joe Kendall.
What's that?
Genocide Hunter. That's one of my favorite.
Oh, I've never seen it. Well, I was just thinking of this one show I watched a while back, and they were like detectives. And I remember the girl's line because her father was a detective. And he said, "Oh, how did you solve that case?" And she said, "You taught me." She said, everything. It was like along that, how did she word it? But it was really like profound. It was like every serious case or something like that, the answer to every case is mundane. So if you look at the most simplest facts of a case, then that's where you're going to be able to start solving what actually happened. You know what I mean? And I was like, I wonder, like, that's actually really profound. Like, that's something to think about, though.
Yeah, it is.
Simple, yeah.
I don't know what's gonna come of this case, but I would love to see how they solve it and what the outcome is, just because it's just so strange to me.
Oh yeah, like I said, this is an incredibly unique case that I was actually in shock when I read it when you sent it to me.
So, yeah. So I think I have some blog messages.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't see those. I just
because that's all I have to tell it. See, what is she? Oh, she sent a link. 6 men with ties to Michael Brown protest license.
Oh,
But
okay.
here's the thing. What city is Mike Brown in? Wasn't Mike Brown, he wasn't in New Orleans though, correct?
I don't think
Let
so.
me look that up because I don't think he was in New Orleans. I don't think that took place in New Orleans.
Yeah, my computer died, or I'd be looking it up with you.
Was it Michael Burton Brown? Nah, that's not
That,
him.
that doesn't sound right to me, but
Yeah, that's not him. Okay, he was in Missouri. That's those are states and two different. These are two different incidents. So I'm not understanding the comparison. That's where I'm lost.
where she's, yeah. Well, and if she said check your inbox. Is that the link that she had sent? Is that what you just checked?
And it's speaking of the Mike, yeah, I did. And it's speaking of the Mike Brown case. It's I don't
Yeah.
see the comparison though. I don't see it. Like I
Well,
don't. These are
from
two
what
different
I got out of,
cases.
yeah, what I got out of her comments, I think the only thing she was trying to talk about was the, corruption of the police and how that may have occurred in both of these cases. I'm guessing is the comparison she was making from what I got out of her comments.
Yeah,
She said not those torch cars. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
bizarre.
but people themselves torch cars with evidence, though.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If they're trying to hide some type of evidence, they're
Oh,
gonna do that.
yeah, that's gonna be a red flag right there. They're trying.
Yeah. So I don't know,
Yeah, innocent people don't go
but
burn, torching cars. So.
mm-mm, mm-mm. I would just love to know who the car is registered to.
Like I said,
That's the key
I agree,
thing.
but I think that's going to be like crucial until they find that out. I don't see how they're moving forward. I'm not a police officer, but I don't know how they would move forward without that information. I would think that would be
Yeah.
crucial to the case.
So can so okay, when you're dealing with something like this as like a parent or somebody who's lost a loved one tragically in that manner and it hasn't been solved, can you reach out to the FBI and ask the FBI yourself to step in, or you know what I mean?
Um, I would think the family would have some sort of leverage to be able to just ask, or would they get some sort of attorney or legal representation just to help them navigate through the whole process, because the police, that way the lawyer can kind of be like that liaison between them and the police of what's really going on. So maybe they could ask their attorney and then the
Yeah.
attorney get the information, or could they just go straight to the FBI? I mean, I don't see why not. I just don't know if the FBI would reveal anything. I wish I knew more about that stuff.
But I don't think so. These boys were young, all especially the youngest one.
Oh
So I
yeah.
don't think they were activists. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think they were
Yeah.
activists, and I don't think their parents were activists. Their brother definitely wasn't an activist. So I don't think this has anything to do with that. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said at the beginning of the story. It had said when the youngest child witnessed the murder of the middle brother, they were on their way from McDonald's getting dinner for them and their mom. I mean, there was nothing, to my knowledge, shady going on at that point. I mean, it was literally just, hey, we're gonna go get dinner. And I think they had said to their dad, hey, we love you, we'll be back, or something like that. We're going to get dinner. I mean, I don't think there was anything nefarious going on at that point. Not that it revealed in the article anyway.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So I don't know. I would just like to dig into this case a little more. Oh, I'll pull it up where you can see it.
Yeah. I'll let you know if I find anything else on it. I'm just reading her thing. 6 people that were found dead back to back that were well-known activists down here. That was with support of that Mike Brown case. They covered it up in different ways. It is very sick, and you have to go deeper into it, but it is sick.
That, but again, this is a case in New Orleans, and we're talking about 3 young boys that weren't activists. Their parents weren't activists. I mean,
yes. So what would be the correlation?
I mean, if find out their background, then it might make more sense. Maybe it wasn't mentioned, but I just this is in a different state. All of those people were in St. Louis, so all of this is taking part in St. Louis. This was in New Orleans, so I don't see how those cases would be in connection.
Not unless the perpetrator is working with a wider scale, but then you're getting into, I don't even know, a whole bunch of, that's a big stretch. I mean, the perpetrator, whoever did this, is working with a wider ring around the country. I have no idea. I mean, that's getting into some wild.
That's my whole point. Like, that's my whole point.
Yeah, because I mean, I
and with the Mike Brown case.
What's that? Without
the Mike Brown case it's been over with for some time now.
Yeah, and without any of us having any of the real classified information, I mean, it's hard to tell. Do you know what I mean? Like, only the police are really going to know if there's some sort of crazy stuff like that going on. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, that's a stretch, but I don't know. But when you rewind back and then think history is repeating itself, kidding. My face being covered up and like everybody's. Oh, I would never be okay with anyone with a police officer covering up anything. No, don't take that the wrong way. I would never be okay with that. That is, I'm just trying to make sense out of these cases based on.
I don't think nobody's okay with it, but about different scenarios is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying, based on the information we have, I'm just trying to make that sense out of this particular case. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. We don't have much.
Yeah.
Just that they were good boys. They hung out. They were tight.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't castaways. That doesn't sit well, because again, you had a brother in prison. You had one of the sons that was in prison. So you're not really fully being honest either on your end.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have to paint a fake scenario?
Unless it's not fake, but then again, we go back to, obviously parents are probably going to want to, represent their children in the best light. Do you know what I mean? So I don't. YouTube. Sorry, I'm reading her next comment. Let's see. I'm gonna watch it is the point that was not when you passed. Yeah, I'd be interested to see that documentary though. I'd wonder who made the documentary. Watched it as the boy that was there with him when he passed away is similar to every case that's going on. So you're thinking, Amanda, that there is a definitive link between all of these cases? I was just going by this particular case and the information I have on this one, because I'm not 100% familiar with those other cases. I can't see.
But there was nobody there with these particular boys when they passed away. And I don't see how it sounds similar to this. The maybe the burnt car, but that's it. And nobody was in the car when it was burnt. The car was burnt after the fact.
Yeah. Hmm. I mean, I'm
Well, that's all I have for you guys this evening. You were gonna say something?
no, just that I'm sure a lot of different criminal cases are going to have some similarities, but that doesn't mean there's any link at all. There may be, there may not be. I would hope to God there's not, but um, like I said, unless there's some huge stretch and you're saying there's some wide conspiracy going on or something across the country, I don't know. I'd have to look way more into those other cases. Like I said, I don't know.
Yeah, I want to look deeper into this particular case.
Mm-hmm.
And see, when you're dealing with a case, you have to look at everybody. So I need to find out information about the parents. I need to find out more information as to why was the son locked up?
Well, that's
What
what I
was he into?
said.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
In the beginning, I was like, did it ever reveal what he was even in prison for? Because that would also lead to answers about, well, did he have anyone who was trying to retaliate against him for something and he took it out on his brothers? Do you know what I mean? Like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I know it's frustrating talking on those apps, Amanda. Yeah, I think those things have a mind of their own when you're typing.
Let's see here. I can drop the link. Oh. Okay, I just shared the link with you if you want to come up because trying to figure out with the mic with that mic. I hate using the mic because it never says what you want it to say.
Mm.
It always says something different than what you're trying to say.
Oh, I know. And then that whole miscommunication thing happens.
Go.
Hold on. Okay, what were you saying?
I was telling her that I put the link in her inbox. Hey, Elkina, long time no hear or see.
Both, right? Good evening to you.
Wait, I hate talking on what it wants to do. I'm surprised it did. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was laughing about a little bit earlier. I was like, yeah, that stuff has a mind of its own. It's just crazy. He says, what's the topic of discussion?
Well, so we were discussing. I don't know if you know anything about the three young brothers who were killed last year in New Orleans. They were killed like within the same week, like back to back, and the murders have not been solved yet. The only thing that has happened is that they found a burned car with DNA, but the DNA they have no matches to it. So we're trying to figure out, you know, why hasn't it been solved? What could have possibly been the reason for these young boys' lives to be taken? And the fact that they're all three brothers is just, it's like
unique case.
Weird. It's weird.
Yeah, are.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, I would definitely be interested.
I think so. Yeah, it's on because it's one of those stories that doesn't, it's a lot of stories out here. That's my new thing, is touching on stories that don't get a lot of exposure.
Mm-hmm.
They get brushed under the carpet. Like, I never heard it until I Google, you know what I mean? I was looking for a story or a topic, and then I ran across that, and I'm like, wow, I didn't hear this one. Never heard anything about it. Never saw it shared on Facebook, nothing. So he says most likely foul play. Can I ask you, Elkanah, when you say foul play, who do you think is foul play on? Like, in what way?
Yeah, how are they responsible?
I want to know what other people could possibly.
Yeah.
Do they think like
Yeah,
it's a conspiracy or?
Oh yeah, getting different just perspectives. Police or KKK?
He said the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. We don't know enough details about the case to know, honestly.
True.
That's a problem. That's the problem with just reading one article or watching one news clip about something, and then you have to watch about bias reporting and all of that goes along with all of this. Because unless you were really there, I mean, how do you really know? Or you're the police investigator. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's hard. It's hard to discern.
So, so what happened though kind of is the I believe it was the oldest brother. He was killed first. And then the two other brothers were killed.
No, it was the middle one that was killed first. Hold on. The youngest child witnessed the murder of the middle child first. So it was the middle one killed first. The oldest was
okay. And then the youngest child and the oldest child.
Yeah, the oldest was in prison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think that has something to do with the popos? Still? And I never saw that documentary. I don't barely have time to watch TV, honestly.
Yeah. There's a lot of background information.
He says it
could be. He said could be. I mean, it's not ruling it
about
out.
The fact that the older brother. What about the fact that the older brother has been in jail? Like, does it say that he could possibly be into some things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, what if someone was retaliating against him, and took it out on his brothers? I don't know. Like I said, it's really hard to know facts. Getting all the facts from one article isn't exactly conducive to figuring out a case, So
yeah,
all we can go by is what we read, because they haven't arrested anyone possibly. I'm sure there's varying factors for that.
So I guess that the cameras, the whatever you call those CTC cameras or whatever,
mm-hmm.
They caught the car, but they didn't catch the license plate. So the only thing they really caught was the color of the vehicle. But then later they found the vehicle burnt. There was DNA on the vehicle, but they don't have a match to who the DNA belongs to. So this person basically has never been arrested because their DNA isn't in the system.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also not giving the parents or whatever much information. So I'm wondering if they're under investigation. And is that why?
It's a high possibility. I mean, I would hate to think so because it's like you feel like compassion for the parents because they've been living in fear. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's where you get into we don't know all the facts. So a lot of times,
Because
like,
do they treat these cases like the same as like when a wife or a husband comes up?
mm-hmm.
The first suspect is the wife or the husband. Do they treat these cases the same?
You know, I think from what I gather, a lot of times they think that it's typically in crimes committed, it's by someone the person knows. So, do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
probably it would be treated similar. The husband and wife as this case. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna suspect the spouse before anyone else. Stranger fruit.
Yeah.
Brother is involved, or the brother into some shady things. Yeah, those are two scenarios that are, I'm sure, likely.
So it's been since last year when this happened. Either corruption is involved or the brother was into some shady things. Yeah. Yeah. But parents painted a different picture. That's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
You know, they, I don't know.
No, I get it.
They cleared that they yeah. Well, you guys, that's all I have for you this evening. Thank you guys for sharing your thoughts and opinions. I'm going to go on and end it. Till next time, you all have a good night.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for joining.